has always led the way with firsts in Indigenous drama.
Indigenous work. Oh yes, there's been a strong line. If I think of 83, I think we did something like 8 Indigenous productions. Little Karoo, Pauline Smith, Droom Corleone's Lou Verweid, the first professional production of Laaste Middagmaal, the first professional production of 1922, Laat February, and other things, not the first productions, all with the Spare Room, Geraldine Aaron, and many productions in that year up at the Observatory Theatre. So that line to continue, I definitely felt should happen, but always not losing track what the audience wants. Meaning the audience shouldn't push us into commercial theatre all the time. People do want to laugh, and these days with money and tax and everything, people want to laugh more. I definitely think so. If you look at the things that's hits on TV, definitely. So I felt always to, if the audience is on, say, 0.5, present something on 0.6 or 7, but not too far ahead of them, because it's no use saying we at the Performing Arts Council should educate the audiences, and there are only 4 in the audience. Who did you educate then? You've only given your own kidneys a jolt in sitting there and enjoying this wonderful theatre, and nobody understood it or anything like that. So there, I think I've scored quite a major point by last year appointing Dion Opperman, whom I think is one of the most exciting young playwrights in South Africa today.
First and foremost, I consider myself an actor. So what I do when I write these plays is I speak the dialogue. So I will go, Maria, ek gaan nie nou so toe gaan nie. I'm not going to go there now. I go, I'm not going to go there now. I refuse, I will not go. And then I finally write it down. So I play around with the idea for the sentence until I find the one which comes trippingly off the tongue. And then I put that down. And then invariably, many of them change again, in direction. I'm a firm believer in the text being fluid as possible. I mean, now working on the teken, I got some wonderful suggestions and lines from Ernst and Marga and Dani and Marshall. You know, the actor finally is the one who has to work with this line, and often is the one who comes up with the line, the one that you knew you should have there, but you never could find.
The theme of Die Teken deals with the Immaculate Conception in a 20th century Calvinistic family.
Vanoggend toe ek jou gevra het of ek is jou vader. Hoekom het jy my nie alles vertel nie?
Dominee het met haar gepraat.
Ek het vanoggend reeds met haar gepraat.
Nee, nie gepraat nie. Geraas, gedreig.
Hy het my ook gesê daar sal 'n teken wees.
Diederik, jou kind is moeg, sy's ontsteld. Wag asseblief tot môre as Dominee met haar praat.
Ek moet weet.
Daar is niks om te weet nie. Daar sal 'n teken wees, dis al wat sy weet, dis al wat aan haar geopenbaar is. Jy weet net soveel as wat sy weet, of as Dominee weet of ek.
Mag ek eers met my eie dogter praat nie?
Jou kind is moeg.
En ek, vrou, is moeg vir jou weerbarstigheid. Ek is hoof van hierdie huis, of jy nou daarvan hou of nie. Ek weet nie wat vandag ewe skielik in jou ingevaar het nie, maar wat ek wel weet, is dat ek nie daarvan hou nie. Jy is my vrou, nie my teenstander nie.
En jy is my man.
I find, well, what has happened every time so far is that I've begun a theme. I've had an idea for a theme. I've said I want to work on the challenge of Christianity, or on the Calvinism, or on the army problem, whatever. Having done that, I say, now, let me see. And I think about it for a few months. And as I think about it, poops, out pops this chap who would possibly illustrate that. Now, there's a danger in this, because what you have is illustrative characters instead of people who are real. But then I worked, and I find that there comes a point when I say, all right, having now brought you people to illustrate my theme, I'm now going to infuse you with life. And so then I take them, then the whole thing does a little upside-down maneuver, and suddenly the characters start dictating where the theme goes. But I always begin at theme, get the characters, and then turn it on its head, and then the characters. Then the story usually goes off, phew, with tangents to where I thought it was going to go, and the theme takes twists and turns which I never expected it to, because then the characters are controlling the story and not the theme.
For a chip.
Thanks, Chris.
Come on, Verge, have a chip. Come on.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, you like a packet of greasies, eh?
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late. A little bit of unexpected business held me up.
We thought you weren't coming.
What?
We just thought... maybe... We just thought that's all.
What did you think?
That you weren't coming.
Oh. And did you think logically, Verge?
Oh, it's late.
What's the time?
Battery's flat.
Danny?
Check out what this was. It's 1 o'clock. Stormy went home.
Only got you, man.
We've been here since 11:30.
When I've had my chips.
Realism is a thing that's going to bring the public in, and if my seats are empty, well, I'm hungry and I'm upset because my things aren't being looked at. So I do it in the form that will bring the public. And then I've got the public there. Then I will show them what I want to show them. And it seems to me realism is the thing to use.
Merchant of Venice is on the map, rehearsing now. It is prescribed. The thing that interested me in Merchant of Venice is that the angle that always, I think, interests everybody right through the history of Merchant of Venice is how to play Shylock, how to interpret Shylock.
You can play Shylock as a villain, you can play him as a comic character, you can play him as incredibly noble and dignified, as Irving did, the kind of Victorian sentimentality about the character. You can give him a sort of characterization that Guinness has just done, which was a man of acumen, intelligence, very dignified. Or you can go for a subtle sort of mix, and I hope that this is where I've placed it, that Shylock is a man of our time. He's full of humor, he's full of pathos, he's full of desperation, he's full of hate. He's kind of torn between all these things. In the scene that is to follow, it is, in a way, the climax to the play. It's the courtroom.
We try for time. I pray thee, pursue sentence.
A pound of that same merchant's flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it.
Most rightful judge.
And you must cut his flesh from off his breast. The law allows it, and the court awards it.
Most learned judge. A sentence, come, prepare.
Tarry a little. There is something else. This bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. Take then thy bond. Take then thy pound of flesh. But in the cutting it, if thou dost shed one drop of Christian blood, thy lands and goods are by the laws of Venice confiscate unto the state of Venice.
Is that the law?
Thyself shalt see the act.
I would like to see Packoff's productions being done in other venues as well. Durban, Grahamstown, Pretoria and all that, because we're doing the type of theatre as well here that can work anywhere else.
Bloemfontein-born ballet dancer Linda Smit comments on the rapport necessary between a ballerina and her partner.
It's vital to have a rapport.
Yes.
You must. It takes weeks of working together to find out how you work, and
Yeah.
you have to have that. You can't, especially in a ballet like this, which is, it's really three firsts for both of us. First time we're dancing in this theatre, first time we're doing this ballet, and first time we're dancing together. And it's a dramatic ballet, and the whole thing requires that there's a rapport between us.
The ballet altogether has been beautifully done. It is very demanding for the male dancers. It technically and especially pioneering-wise. So it's sort of, I want to prove myself how far I can go. You see, it's very challenging.
I feel it's one of Andrei Prokofsky's greatest ballets. As you know, it's on the Tolstoy novel. Beautifully adapted to ballet. Very heart-rendering, it tears you up, obviously because there's children involved. As a ballet, it's extremely heavy for the principals. There are about 7 pas de deux in it for the principal couple, Anna and Vronsky. And it involves a tremendous amount emotionally. It's extremely heavy. And you know, to perform such difficult pas de deux and yet put aside the technicalities, overcome them, let's say, and portray, and to portray that much emotion, you're pretty tired at the end of it, having to give as much as you do.
The opening performance of Anna Karenina was danced by Jeremy Coles and Leanne Lurie. Chekhov's operatic productions include La Bohème, Othello, Madame Butterfly, and of course, Nabucco.
For instance, Nabucco, we've got a chorus of 80, and they're all from Bloemfontein. And the principals, apart from the tenor, it's an all South African cast.
I auditioned, I should think, 200 singers. And we, in fact, started working on this in January because in March I had to take 8 weeks off to do Sound of Music. So we rehearsed for 8 weeks from January until the middle of March, and then we came back again in May, and we've been rehearsing quite hard since then.
don't really have the funds, but I would love to form a permanent ensemble of soloists and later perhaps a permanent chorus.
What it involves is that I have to change from my ordinary self into a Levite, and then into a priest, and then into a Levite again, and then into a priest once more. And then I become a Hebrew slave, and after that I am a soldier. I think that is about how many changes. But I enjoy every single moment of it, and it is one big joy.
We're busy practically with every scene, which really requires a lot of costume changes and very quick ones. We do it on stage, and we've got girls dressing us. And I must say, they really do the job very quick.
It is a bit of a challenge, I must say. There's quite a lot of acting involved in this role, and particularly working with people such as Marita and Hans. I find it a huge challenge, and it's really great fun working with them and being here.
Zagaria, of course, is another story. You know, it's musically, and it's, well, sheer hell to sing the part, if I can put it that way. It's very difficult.
And so to the coming of age and the artistic life of Bloemfontein and the Performing Arts Council of the Orange Free State, the opening night of the opera Nabucco.
Abigail is, acting-wise, a very easy role. She's not a cardboard figure like you very often get in Verdi or Puccini. Like Leonora in Trovatore is what we call a cardboard figure. There's not much you can do with it. But Abigail is a very strong personality. She shows a lot of emotion, a very feminine side, and then a very masculine side, because she's a warrior princess. But she's also a woman who's fallen in love and has been rejected by the man she loves and by her own father. Technically, I suppose it is the most difficult role in the soprano region.
I think that Hans van Heerden is
really one of the most neglected singers because he has a great voice, he's an excellent actor. And Marita Napier, certainly, she's the very loved singer, especially the conductors in Europe like her very much because she's so musical.
I think it's a great privilege to have worked in a new house, and everybody tried so hard to make it a success. I would have hated it to be a flop.
Wonderful occasion. What a wonderful excitement for the Free State. This is the way things are going in South Africa. Just about each of the main centres has got a large theatre complex. We in Durban are going to get ours early next year, and then the country is really set for a wonderful cultural advancement.
I think we've come to a very important time in the theatre in South Africa, because I think we are now beginning to realise that we've not only got roots in Europe, but we've got very strong roots in Africa. And I think that that's what's got to happen now. There's got to be a development of real indigenous South African theatre.
I think that the new theatre complex means an entirely new, exciting era for Free State audiences, and also for Northern Cape and our entire region. They've never had these facilities. Now they know that these facilities are permanent facilities. They will not be moved around again from one venue to the other. It's going to mean that people will come to Bloemfontein. I think the theatre as a whole will mean a tremendous injection into the economy of Bloemfontein as well.
We opened, of course, with Nabucco and Anna Karenina, which are largely collaborations with Pat, about which we're very happy. We have, in fact, our own production of The Merchant of Venice, which is the first drama. The first musical presentation in the theatre is our annual Youth Music Festival, which I'm sure you know a little about by now. We then come on, of course, to a very exciting Spanish dance program, Danza Lorca Spanish Dance Theatre from Cape Town.
Oh, it's terrific. I mean, you can't believe it, that the things have developed so. I think one must think 100 years ahead. You mustn't think just for the day. And I think this new civic theatre will be a complex that will perhaps not just at present deliver all the things that is necessary, but I mean it's somewhere, and it's a house where we can develop and play, and you can't stop theatre if once you've got the facilities.
The theatre is going to be used for as many purposes as possible. It is a people's theatre. It's not meant to be a cultural monument. It is very beautiful and will indeed be treated with the respect which is due to it. We are hoping that everybody will be able to enjoy it.